Hey Buckaroos, welcome back to Musicom Academy. Today it's going to be a really simple lesson. It really just has one simple question at the end. And I'll get to that because I got to tell you a little bit of a story prior to getting into that so that you can really assess that question for yourself. And it's a really, really important one. And it all became about because of this weekend. This weekend they honored Rosalie Trombley, the music director at CKLW, that I and a whole bunch of other really nice, great people, talented people worked with when we were at the Big Eight. And they unveiled a statue for her in Windsor, right on the riverfront, right across from Caesars Casino and the downtown skyline of the Renaissance Center and GM headquarters on the other side. Is a fantastic position and a wonderful, God, it was unbelievably awesome. And it looked just like her and captured her attitude and everything. I'm going to do a really involved video about that. I'm actually going to try to push my filmmaking abilities to my max to make it really special because it was an unbelievably special weekend. So many people came in from all around the country, and regular listeners, people who weren't involved with radio, they came, and there was a big luncheon where fans, again, regular people, not radio people, they were allowed in, talking to everybody, all their questions, telling their stories about the station and what they thought of Rosalie and the station and the jocks. And there was news people there from all over the countries, actually, from 2 different stations that Rosalie worked with, because she also worked in Toronto at CKEY, and that staff was there also. And it was great to see everybody. And record people came in from Chicago, from Detroit, from other parts of Ohio. And one guy in particular, which is what this lesson is about, came in, and he came in from Los Angeles. And that person is Les Garland. Now, he's probably cringing right now because I'm talking about him, because, Les can be larger than life for sure, but he's also seemingly a pretty humble guy into a lot of things. So this might be making him like antsy. But it's a really good lesson, and this is why there's a lesson about this. Les came in, and Les was the program director of CKLW for about 3 years. And then after that, he went to RKO in Boston. And after that, the big 610 KFRC. And each one of those instances, it was success after success after success. And then a little bit down the road, he formed up with another guy that you probably heard of, Bob Pittman. That Bob at iHeartRadio, the CEO there. And the 2 of them put on MTV on the air, okay? Like it didn't exist prior to them. They put it on, and in the heyday years of MTV, when it was the hottest thing on the planet, they ran it. So huge amount of success. But for what we knew him as, he was the PD that we worked for, everybody. And there was a lot of staff there that had worked for them. And here's where it gets to the lesson, because it's really important. I know I and Ted Richards, Teddy came in, who I hadn't seen in 30 years. Same thing with Les. I hadn't seen Les in 35, 40 years. So this is a guy, again, going back to Les, this is a PD that I hadn't seen and nobody really had seen for at least 35 years, maybe almost 40 years. Everybody genuinely wanted to talk to Les and hang around with Les and catch up with Les, because even though he was a boss and we worked hard for him, we really liked him. And that's the point of this, of why I'm kind of telling you this, because I sat and watched all the staff, and as I'm watching them, and everybody's laughing with Les, and they're cracking jokes, and just the way he is, he was a pretty outgoing guy, which is great, but still, it's like, there's the PD that you haven't seen in 35 years, and time just disappears. You're immediately right back as if somebody went out for a coffee and came back, and you kept the conversation going. And everybody was into it, and friends and camaraderie and trying to catch up, and a big one, shared memories. Like a lot of times when someone works for you, you know them, but you don't know them. Yeah, you know them, they're sort of like an acquaintance. Where in this instance I was watching, it was like, man, for everybody virtually, it was not just sort of like an acquaintance level. It was like everybody was friends. It just got me thinking, because I thought, man, I picked a lot of that, hopefully. People tell me that I was, easy and nice to work with. I would have picked that up with Les. Because he just made it seem effortless. And that's the question to you, and that is this entire lesson. If you're a program director or you're a manager or any kind of boss, really, in any kind of business, it really pertains to anyone. If there was some sort of get-together 30 years after you left, wouldn't anybody care if you came? Would anybody want to come up and hang out with you? I don't mean just go, oh, hi, hey, good to see you, and then walk way back to your table. I mean, like, really hang around and want to talk and catch up. Would that happen to you? Because if the answer is no, I don't know if you're handling people well. You don't have to be a hard ass to be a success. You can have fun. You can be crazy. You can do wild things that make everybody laugh, and you go like, oh my God, yeah, that's my boss. I love this guy. You can do that and still have success, as witnessed by Les, a pretty storied career there. And I'm sure he was exactly the same every place he was. And probably in a high degree, that's why success followed him every place he was. As always, if you like this, you hit the like button, hit that notification bell, and also subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And as I mentioned for Rosalie's tribute and the unveiling of the statue or everything, with the lead singer of the Guess Who, Burton Cummings, being there to do the unveiling, he came down on his own money, his own everything. He just wanted to do it because of what Rosalie meant to his career. And he openly acknowledged, which you'll see, that there probably would not have been a career without Rosalie taking the shot on him and the band, the Guess Who. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to do a video, actually probably 2 or 3 videos, and I think there's actually one more programming lesson within those videos that I'm going to do, because we had a lot of conversations with Les and Ted and a bunch of other radio people there, and we all were just kind of talking radio, and you quickly get to remember what radio was like, and you sit back and you go like, you know what? Why can't it be that way now? I know that sounds like old thinking and all that stuff, but but I'll just leave you this thought, and then I'm going to do it in the lesson way more elaborately. But I kept coming back to the question: is radio just a little too hip, a little too smart for the room? Has everybody looked at data and tried to analyze it to an nth degree, and went through it so much and came up with theories, and we should do this, and this is what it's telling this, and we need that, and blah, 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 blah. And all of it is wrong. All of it. I really kept coming back to that as I'm listening to the conversations, and my mind is going. It's like, is everybody pretty much in radio right now 100% wrong? And the whole thing really just boils down to slap a station on the air, hire good people, make it crazy entertaining. I mean, really get up in people's face and have fun and do really awesome things, and you'll probably be a success. Because when you think about it right now, there's kids on YouTube working out of their bedroom that are 1,000 times more entertaining and have more viewers, and ultimately, obviously, you're listeners, than most radio stations have. And you go like, well, how's that work? They don't have that data. They're not analyzing anything. They got nothing. They're working with nothing other than getting in front of a camera and going, I want to be cool and I want to do something neat. Maybe it's just as simple as that.